Is Jade Cargill the victim of unfair criticism? Or is the pressure of being a top WWE star starting to get to her? Because if you've been following closely, Jade has finally fired back, and not with a whisper, but with a roar. She's calling out the double standards, the microscopic scrutiny, and the quiet hope some fans seem to carry that she'll slip up. WWE touted her arrival as a game-changing signing, and now we're starting to see the emotional cost of that push. From the start, WWE presented Jade as a top-tier acquisition. This wasn't some mid-card addition, this was a statement to the entire wrestling world. They took a homegrown AEW main eventer and immediately began positioning her as one of the faces of the future. In doing so, they made sure her entire journey would unfold under the brightest spotlight imaginable. For Jade, it's not just about wrestling matches, it's about surviving under the pressure and proving she deserves the spotlight just as much as any other WWE star. And now, the mask is off. Jade has spoken publicly, revealing just how heavy that crown is. On the Raw recap show, she opened up about what it feels like to carry such weight while still trying to learn and grow. She made it clear, if she makes a mistake, people don't just shrug it off like they might for others. Instead, it's met with finger-pointing and "I told you so" reactions. In her own words, she said, "I have so much pressure on my back. Someone else can go out there and make a mistake, and they're like, oh, okay, that person's fine. But if I make a mistake, oh no, I told you, even though I've executed this move about 5 times. This kind of double standard has followed Jade since she arrived in WWE, and it doesn't just come from fans, it's baked into how talent from other promotions have historically been treated. Her signing wasn't just about her, it was symbolic. Think about how rare it was for AEW talent to jump ship to WWE. Cody Rhodes was the first major AEW name to make that leap. Jade was the second. WWE needed to prove to other AEW stars that making the switch wouldn't result in a career nosedive. In fact, it would be the opposite. WWE knew they couldn't afford to let Jade fall into obscurity. They needed her run to be a success, not just for her, but as a message to the rest of the industry. So they crafted a smart rollout, months of teases, TV appearances, and a bidding war storyline where all 3 brands Raw, SmackDown, and NXT tried to sign her. This wasn't just a storyline, it was a perception play. WWE wanted fans who hadn't followed AEW to believe Jade was the hottest free agent in wrestling. And it worked. Many fans didn't know much about her AEW career. A lot of them don't even watch AEW. Others only keep up with wrestling through social media clips or pay-per-view highlights. So when WWE built Jade up as this prized possession, they were building her from scratch for a whole new audience. And they were doing it with intent. Every camera angle, every entrance, every move was tightly controlled. WWE didn't just present Jade, they curated her. Unlike many talents who are given the freedom to organically develop, Jade was micromanaged to a degree rarely seen, from her entrance music hitting to the way she stepped through the ropes. Her cadence, her look, her positioning, all of it was precisely choreographed. There was no room for error, no margin for Jade to be perceived as green, even though, truthfully, she was still learning. WWE wanted to eliminate any possible weakness before the audience could latch onto it. And that's the thing, Jade was still developing as a performer. Her journey goes back to 2019 when WWE first showed interest, but she chose a different path. Instead of signing immediately, she trained independently at schools like Heath Slater's and A.R. Fox's before enrolling at the Nightmare Factory under QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes. When she debuted in AEW in 2021, she was instantly treated like a big deal. Her undefeated streak drew comparisons to Goldberg. She had presence, charisma, and star power. She was a work in progress, but AEW went all in. So when WWE brought her in, they understood what they were getting. A star in the making, but one that needed molding. That's why her debut wasn't rushed. They gave her time, they built anticipation, then they inserted her into the spotlight in a way that made it clear she was a priority. The media tour, the brand bidding, the high-profile alliances, it was all part of WWE's master plan to present Jade Cargill as undeniable. Once Jade finally stepped into the ring, the expectations were sky high. That kind of pressure would crush some people, especially when every match feels like an audition. Every move, every facial expression, every promo, it's all analyzed, and if anything is slightly off, the knives come out, fans cry foul, critics scream overhyped. The same stumbles that are brushed off for others become damning evidence that Jade isn't ready. But despite all of that, she's performed, she's delivered in big matches and thrived in the spotlight. Pairing her with Bianca Belair, one of WWE's most beloved stars. Wasn't just a smart move, it was strategic brilliance. They became a dominant tag team, and later, Naomi joined that orbit, giving the women's tag division a much-needed shot of star power. Jade didn't just keep up, she helped define that era. The trio became synonymous with women's tag wrestling in 2024. Jade's willingness to open up about the pressure she faces is rare in an industry that thrives on bravado. Her transparency is powerful. She's not just saying, "I'm great," she's saying, "This is hard, this is real." That kind of honesty is important because it shows fans the humanity behind the performer. It reminds us that even the most confident, most visually dominant athletes can feel vulnerable. They can feel the weight of the expectations we pile on them. And make no mistake, Jade's path hasn't been easy. WWE's strategy has shifted in recent years. They're no longer burying talent who come from rival promotions. Instead, they're embracing them. But with that shift comes added responsibility. Jade, along with Cody Rhodes, became the poster children for that new philosophy. And that means any stumble, any misstep, is magnified. It's not just about Jade Cargill failing, it's about the WWE's new talent model being questioned. Look at the other AEW stars who made the jump. Ricky Starks, Ethan Page, Mariah May, Lexis King, they've all received varying levels of attention. Some have gotten pushes, some are still waiting for their moment. But Jade, she was treated differently. She was elevated. The expectation wasn't just to succeed, it was to dominate. And that creates a totally different playing field. One where critics are constantly waiting for her to crack under the weight of it all. But Jade hasn't cracked. She's evolved. As the months have passed, WWE has started to loosen the reins. They've given her more room to breathe, to experiment, to make mistakes and learn from them. She's no longer the overly managed product she was at first. She's becoming a real performer, not just a project. And that shift has allowed her to find her voice, not just in the ring, but outside of it. Jade Cargill today is still a work in progress. Like every top star was at some point in their journey. But she's also something rare, a performer who is willing to speak out about the impossible standards she's held to. Her honesty forces fans to rethink the narratives we build around wrestlers. It challenges us to ask, why do we demand perfection from some and not others? Why do we judge certain talents more harshly simply because they were hyped more? The answer, of course, is rooted in how wrestling fans consume hype. When a wrestler is built up as a megastar from day one, the audience expects instant greatness. But wrestling isn't always instant. Growth takes time. Even legends like Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair had awkward stretches, misfires, and reinventions. Jade isn't immune to that process, nor should she be. And so now, with the Queen of the Ring tournament heating up, Jade finds herself once again in a high-pressure spotlight. She's not just competing for a crown, she's competing for validation, for the chance to prove that she belongs in the conversation, not just because WWE said so, but because she's earned it. The pressure is immense, the critics are loud, but Jade is louder. She knows who she is, she knows what she brings, and now, with her story unfolding in front of millions, she's embracing the scrutiny, she's meeting it head-on, not with excuses, but with fire. And that's why Jade Cargill isn't just surviving, she's thriving, because even when the lights burn brightest, she refuses to dim.